I believe this is number 15. Kiddies, good morning. This is about probably my first or second Boston Pops performance ever. This would have been in the very late 60s. I'll actually tell you two quick stories. The first one was my very first performance with the Boston Pops was someplace like Springfield or Fall River or something, and Fiedler was conducting, and this is my first time to be playing with the Boston Pops, White Tie, Tails, and so forth. And I was totally struck dumb by the lack, shall we say, of attentiveness that the musicians gave towards Fiedler. That's the best way I can describe it, diplomatically. They did not treat him very well, and I was stunned by this. And the ultimate example of this was, we were playing a piece by Vaughan Williams called the Fantasia on the Theme of Thomas Tallis. Wonderful piece just for strings. And in the middle of the softest moment of this piece, one of the bassoon players reached in his pocket and started jingling his change. And it was a very obvious sound on the stage, and Fiedler was looking around, and obviously the musicians around the bassoonist thought he was very funny. But I remember saying to myself, this is the Boston Pops, who I revered and admired since that first performance I saw them back in high school, and I was appalled. But we got through the performance, and it was there's never a bad performance. The musicians are too good, and I've always thought that Fiedler, in the music that he knew, was a very fine conductor. The tempos were perfect, etc., etc. But at any rate, the third time I played, I was playing with Paul Gay. And Paul Gay had been one of the top freelancers around Boston, certainly played almost everything that he could play physically and classically. And he did a lot of Boston Pops runouts at that time. And he was playing, I believe, principal on this gig, and I was playing second, if I might guess. But at any rate, just to show you what was going on, the oboe player gave the A, and I started tuning my A like this. I was playing like this, moving my slide around, and so forth. And Paul Gay turned to me and said, "Do you know where second position on your trombone is?" And I said, "Yes, Paul, it's about," he said, no. "Do you know exactly where?" He says, "Do you know? Don't come back tomorrow until you're absolutely sure. Fine tune your B flat to a perfect B flat, A442, and then tune your A second position, and so forth." Well, the musicians were turning around looking back, and I was dying with embarrassment. But I understood what he was trying to say, and I went home, and I had a strobo tuner. This is a very ancient tuning device. They had rotating wheels, and when you were perfectly in tune, the wheels would line up and show you a straight black line on the tuner, an optical tuner basically. So I played the B flat and got that perfectly in tune with the tuner, and then found A exactly where that was on the tuner, so I knew exactly where the second position was. And in the next rehearsal, I went back, second rehearsal, and Paul Gay turned to me and said, "Do you know where your A is now?" And I said, "Yes, you," and I called him a really unprintable name. And he laughed, and we became friends ever since. But it was a terrifying experience to go through, but a very important one.